Namaskaram. Guys, probably this is the most important discussion in terms of clearing this particular attempt because this is obviously the last chance and also this has the most impactful score improvement in terms of what is possible. Okay. The first and foremost thing, stop worrying about sources. Stop worrying about sources. One thing all of us have to understand is this is also a regular exam. It's not a copy paste exam. The idea is not to test how fast you can copy. It is a regular exam. Just that you can also take books. Once again, it is a regular exam, a very regular exam. So your presence of mind, your processing, understanding the question, all of them hold good. Nothing changes. Just because you have a book, it's not going to change. Until now, it's okay because out of FOMO, you have to do a lot of things. But right now, get your perspective right. That is the reason why we are time and again asking you to carry a question paper while going. Go through the questions. Go through the question. Understand what is being asked. Okay. So this is the first and most important thing. Your books are secondary. Your thinking and processing is primary. More than all your sources. This is far more important. One book left out, half paced or not, do not worry. Just leave it. Okay. It's very important. The fundamental shift is important. Next, when you go and start answering the questions, there is a high chance that I wish I could have carried that book. I wish I could have bought that also. Somebody else has extra luggage, extra another 7 kgs. Do not worry. Please do not worry. The reason being, IBS is also like every other paper where you can only attempt 70 to 80 marks properly. 20 marks you cannot attempt even after excluding the choice. Even after excluding the choice, that's what Anurag was saying. It just couldn't do anything about this 14, 15 marks. Now, what I want you to do is go and attempt something. But please be mentally prepared that this is an 80-mark paper or 75-mark paper. All across 75, 80 is what you can attempt. So please don't get over panicked if there are questions which you are may or may not be able to attempt. Please understand this. 40, 30 is a target for MCQs. Out of 60, 40 is the target for descriptive. This is where you can get to 70. Even if it is 60, it is fine. But this is what you have to understand. This is all about how normal IBS is. This discussion is about telling you IBS is just like any other paper. It's not a copy paste paper. Approach it with that same sense of responsibility and I would say carefulness, right? Box fitting everything. You repeat the instructions which we already given you. This is about it. Okay, this IBS is done. IBS, which is common about other exams, is done. Now, what is specific about IBS? Okay, there are 4 aspects in this. The first one is process before you search. Process before you search. You see a question, you open a question, you see a question, anything, let's say, modification in lease agreement. Now, the topic is not lease agreement. The topic is not Ind AS 116. It is modification in the lease agreement. Please understand, okay? Modification of the lease agreement. Do not get overexcited about the macro topic. Get to the specific topic. Probably it even makes sense for you to invest 1 more minute and write 2, 3 points in terms of how you would think without an answer. That will realign the thing. Otherwise, what will happen is, since you have a source, there is a tendency to dump a lot of information. There is a possibility that you will get 0 in descriptive answers. Zeros in descriptive answers is also a possibility. Please understand that. Some of you are not written it earlier. So there the extra caution is required in terms of processing. It's like pin the location before you start driving, not figuring it out while you drive. Before you start searching, pin the location. This is the most important instruction which you have to clearly remember. Now coming to this. First is in terms of the order, it's better to solve descriptive and then MCQs. It is largely accepted. Then skill assessment terms, I have given you a sheet. Just go through it once and then leave it. Okay, you carry it with you because in case evaluate, descriptive, and all of that is given, describe and all of that, you just need to know what is being asked. Okay, this is a skill assessment sheet. Next, if you're carrying ICI test your knowledge index, it might be handy in case there is no repetitive case study from the regular authors. You're carrying this, and 2 RTPs and MTPs only go through solutions because once again, you need to know you need to construct the answer. You cannot copy and paste. Copy the content, but construct the answer. Copy the content, construct the answer. This is very, very important. This is the most important step which differentiates 50 plus 70. Okay. Copy the content and construct the answer. This is very important. Now, after 4 p.m., think about it. After 4 p.m., if you think you're reasonably exhausted, if your mind is not very active, club 2 case studies, solve descriptive together, solve MCQ together. Like MCQs together is for 20 marks, descriptive is for 30 marks. It's like a regular paper. Let's say last one, a regular paper. 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., what would you do? All MCQs together you'll solve. All descriptive will solve. So think about it. First two case studies, solve it independently so that there is no mishap. The last two cases, if you think there is too much context switching, opening MCQ and closing the book here and there, probably understand. Let me first solve all the MCQs together and then descriptive. It might work. You think about it, just a suggestion. Next, in case of direct questions, which are directly from the case study or reference books, accelerate. Don't think twice, accelerate. That is where you save time. In case of practical questions, arithmetic, you slow down and get the numbers right because you might get zero if you go wrong. What is the difficult part of the question is a case study based question where the essence has to be digged out, which is not directly in the case study. Okay, this is the question which is tricky. This component, even if it's for 20-30 marks, as I mentioned there, that's okay. This is the tricky part which you'll normally face. Okay, this is about what difficulties you'll face. Now, these are fundamentals. Essential rules for IBS. One case study should not cross 50 minutes, assuming 10 minutes of normal loss. One case study should not cross 50 minutes. All MCQs in OMR, as and when the MCQ is done, please drop them in the OMR. It takes only 2 minutes. And one more important thing, ICA clearly says, do not attempt all 5 question MCQs. There is negative marking also. It's not just being evaluated. Let's say you have to write only 4 questions, right? Even if you know the 5th, there is no best of 5. Please attempt only MCQs of 4 questions only. Don't touch the 5th question MCQs, the 5th case study MCQs. It is very important. In other exams, it's not the case. Of course, MCQs are given. So in this case, this is what you have to look at. In terms of the provision, concept, analysis, conclusion, what you can always pick up from your case study is, provision and concept you can pick up. The difficulty you might face is for analysis and conclusion. So sometimes when you're not able to write the analysis and conclusion, at least write provision and concept and come back. You'll get 30% of marks. Okay, please understand this. There are topics where you cannot do this, especially for SCM. So at least elaborate on the provision and I would say concept. Now, in question, focus on the keywords. Which part? Just answer this. In question, which part? As I told you, the specific part it has to be very important. Answer this. Next, once you are carrying the case study compilation, before you start searching the answers from other sources, quickly go through. I think all of you went through that exercise. If that is not useful, I think you should dispose. If the case study is not the same, I don't think it is relevant any longer. Quickly identify and dispose. And finally, answer 100 marks. One golden rule, answer 100 marks. You're not coming back without the denominator. You get 100 marks, the numerator will automatically happen. And in terms of MCQs, I'm giving you a very quick perspective, okay? There are certain MCQs where there are more than one option. Choose all the options. There, elimination becomes very important. It's a combination of 1, 2, 1, 3 and all of that. There, be extra careful. Next, matching. Here, AD, CA, sometimes something like balance scorecard. You might get MCQs like this, where at least 2 options you match, automatically you might get the other right. Next, essence questions. These are the hardest. There are some questions which you can answer out of 1 paragraph or 2 paragraphs. Essence, what stage of growth is the startup? You'll have to go through it. Essence questions. So get an understanding, because you can never get the accuracy or completeness for this. There, don't waste too much time because you can't find it anywhere. You cannot answer it completely. So grab an understanding and go ahead with it. Don't leave it. There's no point in coming back for MCQ. Never leave an MCQ, answer and go. Okay? But descriptive, that's a different story. And do you agree? There, the reasons have to be very clear. First, arrive at yes or no, and then decide. Okay, there are 4 options. Yes, option 1, option 2. No. Okay, there, first decide yes or no. Then think about which is a better option about it. This is about answering MCQs. Elimination is compulsory. Okay, this is about MCQs. Now, descriptive. This is a general trend. Again, this could change. Now, in terms of choosing descriptive, because as and when you get the question paper, one thing which we decided to do is write which chapter and which subject is from. Once you start writing, for you to choose which is a relative case study, I explained the table, right? We did it with Soundarya yesterday. I think Kushal and Visha also did that. Table of each question. Out of each subject, how many marks are coming? Let's say 2 MCQs from SCM, 1 descriptive for MCM, total 9 marks. So this is the SCM based case study. Then that will help you to choose. Okay, create a table. Don't worry, that will help you to save a lot of time if you spend 2 minutes on that. Once that is done, in terms of the order of questions, first and foremost is, most of the time, if there is an AFM practical question, that might be simple for people writing both groups, because largely they don't go deep. This is one. Second, direct theory questions in audit are reasonably, you can handle that reasonably well. Again, I'm not speaking for group 2 students in general. Next, direct questions in law, DT, IDT can also be done. FR practical questions can be done. Then is DT, IDT practical questions compared to complexity of FR practical questions. Now, this is not hard and fast rule based on the trends which we have seen earlier. What is the most difficult part is SCM practical questions. When I say SCM practical questions, I'm not just talking about numbers. Let's say prepare a business model canvas for this entity. It doesn't have numbers, but still it's practical. So this is the question which might take more amount of time. Now, I would personally choose this because the reason is it would not require a lot of subjectical knowledge, not technical where you have to dig deep. If you are reasonably good with strategy, normally, naturally, then this is an advantage. If you're not, this is the last priority. Okay, this is the range of things which you have to work upon. So final three things: you're attending for 100 marks, and your first two case studies, you're solving case study one, then going to other case study. Last two case studies you can club in the interest of time. At any given point of time, you're not crossing 50 minutes per case study. Is that clear? Are we good? Okay. So just give yourself a round of applause. You can do well. And finally, one last time, I accept the one last challenge at the top of your voice. 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Perfect, guys. All the best. Yeah.